Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Catherine Hubert. I am the owner here at Chez Genèse. We are a French-inspired cafe in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we exist to provide equal employment for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And this is our corner of the internet where we dive deeper into who we are, what we do, why we do it. This is for the benefit, hopefully, of our community, both local to Greensboro and outside of Greensboro, but it's also really beneficial to us and to our team and to myself as we aim to dig deeper into who we are, and as we also practice articulating the purpose and the mission that we have as we seek to educate and to advocate for employment for adults with disabilities. And so we're so excited to have you here. Today we are talking about how to be just the right amount of offensive, which seems maybe like a little bit of an odd topic, but because the work that we're doing centers around advocacy and education, there is a just general level of discomfort that I think can sometimes be stirred up in that process, not because what we're talking about is bad, but because it's not something that's talked about culturally very often. And so there's a lot of rewriting narratives, of shattering different stereotypes or stigmas that we have grown up in or been surrounded with or have believed in. So this is a process of relearning and challenging our own perceptions and our own beliefs. I think this applies if you have a disability or you don't. There's a lot of misinformation and a lot of mistreatment that has happened historically for people with disabilities. And so we want this to be a space where we can all come and learn and grow together, but we acknowledge that that won't always be straightforward. It won't always be clear cut. It will sometimes be messy, and it will sometimes be uncomfortable. And so as we prepare for that, and we know that some of what we're saying is going to push back against things that may be emotional for us or for other people who are tuning in, we want to just set a general tone or posture. And the first one being that we are still learning. I personally am still debunking myths and stereotypes and narratives that I have grown up hearing or believing, and it is scary to do that publicly. That's something that has and was really intimidating to me as Chez Genèse was getting started. It's something that has held me back in the past in terms of being more vocal or speaking up or speaking out exactly about the reasons why we do the things that we do. Some of that time has spent learning more and getting really immersed into more disability culture so that I have a better understanding and idea of where my mindset needs to be. But it is still intimidating to be in a public place, both physically as a business and then also online, and have a presence where anybody can comment or chime in, and where I know I will sometimes get things wrong, and I'll get them wrong publicly, and what does it look like when that happens. So I do just want to say we acknowledge that we are still learning. That can be a challenging process, but just know that we are taking it very seriously and treating it with a lot of time and honor and respect. Secondly, we are here to learn and grow together, which means hopefully you are here to learn with us. So that being said, we do, and this applies to online educational opportunities that we have with guests, with our team, with friends, with family, with workshops that we do internally here within our business, online with our social media and with YouTube. Because we're here to educate and to advocate, we do take language around disabilities really seriously, and We aim to be kind and to be respectful of all humans, and we hold other people to that standard as well. We don't hold you to the same level of understanding. That's why we're here, is we want to provide some education and conversation around disability topics. But we will take the opportunities to provide gentle education or feedback when we see that conversations or language may not be as honoring or respectful, especially to disabled humans, as they could be. So know that we will keep your personhood in mind as we make those corrections. I was trying to think of a softer word for that, but we were talking about being offensive, so I guess corrections can fit in that theme. We want to do things in a way that is not at all blaming or shaming, but that provides just a deeper understanding of why language is so important, the things that we say, how we say them, and the way that we say things here within our space and the reasons behind that. And we'll get into that a little bit deeper in the coming weeks. We've talked about this a little bit through our Instagram, but we'll do some video features here too about terms and topics to avoid when talking about disabilities, euphemisms to avoid, etc., and the reasons behind that. So stay tuned for that coming up in the future, but just know that those are things that we really value and that are important to us, and we will take the time to educate in those areas so that we can continue to learn and grow better together. Lastly, the 4 words that we are keeping in mind and themes in all of this, in the sense that we are learning and you are still learning, is gentleness, neutrality, humility, and curiosity. So those are going to be the pillars as we continue to approach new conversations and topics together. We aim to provide feedback in a way that is gentle and that considers the human first. We aim to educate with a neutral tone, so not assigning good or bad to things, but simply stating things in a factual or observational way, especially when it comes to other humans and their perspectives or stances on things. And then curiosity, as much as possible, we want to dig into the why behind things, and this is something that can be particularly helpful to hold on to as you and I continue to explore our own thoughts and ideas. Why do we think the things that we do? Why do we feel the things that we do? And again, trying to do that in as much of a neutral tone as possible. Curiosity helps a lot in that process when feelings get stirred up. If that feeling is uncomfortable, if you're feeling shocked by something or put on the spot, being able to get curious about that instead of assigning a lot of blame or condemnation to yourself, and wondering, like, why did I just react the way that I did, or what am I feeling right now about this? I've been doing that a lot over the past year, and that's been so helpful in my own process and being willing to challenge my own way of thinking, and the way that I operate within the world, and the way that I operate as a leader within our team. So I would encourage y'all to get curious along with me. And then lastly is humility. We are not the experts. We would like to become the experts at some point, but we're doing the groundwork now to truly become excellent and proficient in the work that we do. I've debated at different times about whether or not we should wait until we felt like everything was solid and understood. But the truth is, like, there's so much that changes in the world of advocacy that if we waited for everything to be settled, we wouldn't speak up, and that's not beneficial either. So we've done a lot of homework and work on the front end, but know that we don't have a complete picture or understanding of everything that we're doing yet. And the only way to continue to complete that picture is by stepping into the process and doing more work, and by inviting other people into that work with us. So that's what this space is designed for. We're grateful that you're here, but we want to remain humble in that process and understand who we are and where we're still at in that process, and know that there's always so much more room for us to grow and learn, and that we want to be receptive to that learning, admitting when we make mistakes, and challenging ourselves to grow. So that's it for today. I hope that was helpful. In a brief recap, we are here to learn. You are here to learn. We are so grateful to get to do that learning together, and we will be holding gentleness, curiosity, neutrality, and humility in mind as we do that with you. So thank you so much, and we will see you next week. But it's also really beneficial to us and to our team and to myself as we continue to push farther and harder into the mission. It sounded a little bit sexual, especially with the hand motions there. I should maybe redo that. When I start to get tired, I start to condense words and smash them together. Also, that could be a little bit sexual. There's someone taking the trash out. He's watching me talk to the camera.